Marvel fans, I am here to talk about another underrated mutant of the Marvel Universe. Also, I am Megan with Vigilante Vibes. I did that out of order, and it feels weird. So, today I want to talk about Roberto da Costa, aka Sunspot. Sunspot first appeared in Marvel graphic novel number 4 in 1982. Roberto da Costa is the son of a wealthy Afro-Brazilian businessman, Emmanuel da Costa, and his wife Nina, who works as an archaeologist. Roberto's mutant powers first appeared when he was just 14 during a championship soccer match for his school team in Rio de Janeiro. Things took a very dark turn when one of his opposing players, Keller, driven by racist hatred, knocked Roberto to the ground. Hot-headed as ever, Roberto went after Keller, but Keller and another teammate ganged up on him, beating him so badly. In the middle of the fight, Roberto's powers suddenly erupted. His body and clothes turned completely black as he gained superhuman strength, hurling Keller away without realizing what he was doing. Everyone around him panicked and ran, except for his girlfriend, Juliana, and his father, who stayed by his side as he tried to make sense of what just happened. To give you a good idea of what Roberto's powers are, Sunspot absorbs and metabolizes solar energy to gain superhuman strength, fight, durability, and stamina. He is not connected to sunspots, as in skin blemishes, but rather his name and powers come from the concept of harnessing solar power, including heat and light. When powered, his body appears as a dark black solar energy being, sometimes with a black or dark solar plasma look. Before long, Roberto's powers caught the attention of Donald Pierce, a rogue member of the Hellfire Club's inner circle who is out to eliminate mutants. When Pierce's men failed to capture Roberto, they kidnapped Juliana instead. Professor Charles Xavier, the founder of the X-Men, got wind of the situation and sent Dr. Myra McTaggart, because somehow it always goes back to her, and young mutants Karma and Psyche to help. Roberto agreed to meet Pierce's men to save Juliana, but the mercenaries betrayed him and tried to take them both out. In the chaos, Juliana sacrificed herself, jumping in front of a bullet that was meant for Roberto. Overcome with guilt and anger, he swore vengeance on Pierce and joined Xavier's teams of young mutants, soon becoming one of the founding members of the New Mutants. At Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, Roberto, nicknamed Bobby, trained in the Danger Room alongside teammates like Cannonball and Wolfsbane, who became his closest friends. During that time, Bobby's father secretly joined the Hellfire Club as the White Rock, one of the few non-mutants in its inner circle, though he mostly went unnoticed there. Over the years, Roberto faced plenty of wild experiences, being experimented on with the same drug that gave Cloak and Dagger their powers, getting captured and mind-controlled by Mojo and Spiral, and even briefly considering staying in Asgard where the mutants weren't feared but celebrated. He constantly wrestled with his fiery temper and his fear of losing control over his powers. At one point, after accidentally injuring his best friend Sam during a soccer game, Roberto ran away, believing he was way too dangerous to be around his teammates. Living on the streets, he eventually joined a group of misfit young mutants called the Fallen Angels, which included Boom Boom, Siren, even Devil Dinosaur. Yeah. But after realizing he'd been running from his guilt and fear, he returned to the New Mutants and helped them take down villains like Cameron Hodge and The Right. When Magneto took over as the team's mentor, Roberto struggled to respect him and briefly left the school after learning Xavier had once doubted his character. Eventually, he came back and continued to grow as both the fighter and a leader. As the years went by, the New Mutants evolved into the X-Force, led by Cable. When Roberto's father died, he was tricked by the immortal Gideon, who had actually killed his father and experimented on Roberto to supercharge his powers. The ordeal left him stronger than ever. He could now fly and shoot solar blasts. Later, when he was manipulated by the villain Rainfire, Cable intervened to break the psychic link between them, teaching Roberto control and giving him mastery over his abilities. Roberto's personal life was messy too, just as messy as he was. He developed feelings for Tabitha Smith, who was Meltdown, Boom Boom. She picked so many names, but right now it's Boom Boom, who was dating Sam at the time, leading to some serious tension between the two best friends. Despite that, they eventually made peace and continued to work together. After being deported back to Brazil, Roberto tried to live a normal life as a rich playboy, but found it meaningless. That's when Celine lured him into joining the Hellfire Club, promising to resurrect Juliana if he served her. Torn by guilt and love, Roberto agreed and became the Black Rook. Eventually, though, he broke free and later became Lord Imperial of the Hellfire Club after Sebastian Shaw's downfall. During M-Day, when most mutants lost their powers, Roberto was among the very few who didn't. He later became a mentor to the young X-Men, then reunited with his old New Mutants team under Cyclops' direction. After the events of Avengers vs. X-Men, Roberto and Sam joined the Avengers, helping on cosmic scale missions. When he realized he didn't agree with Steve Rogers' methods, Roberto took a bold step. He bought AIM, which stands for Advanced Idea Mechanics, and rebranded it into a force for good, turning it into Avengers Idea Mechanics and forming his own new Avengers team. Despite secretly battling Mpox, a disease caused by the Terrigen exposure that made him age faster when using powers, he kept leading with charm and confidence. Later, Roberto struck a deal with the US government, turning AIM into American Intelligence Mechanics, and led the US Avengers under the alias Citizen V. During Hydra's brief takeover, he was captured and nearly died from a head injury that caused his powers to overload. But his teammate, Tony Ho, saved him with a special device. After Hydra's defeat, Roberto stepped down as AIM's leader but kept leading the US Avengers, right up until the cosmic crisis forced him to push his powers to the limit once again, accelerating his aging and prompting him to retire as Citizen X. After that, Roberto couldn't stay out of action for long. During the War of the Realms, he fought alongside the X-Men against Frost Giants and Icehounds, even though it seemed like he met a fiery end. Fortunately, thanks to Krakoa's resurrection protocols, Sunspot returned to life as part of the New Mutant Nation. Reuniting with his New Mutant teammates, Roberto helped a space mission with Sam Guthrie in the Shi'ar Empire, where he flirted shamelessly with Deathbird and even bought the entire building Sam lived in so he could stay close to him and his family. Later, when mutants terraformed Mars into the new world of Morocco, Roberto opened a bar called the Red Lagoon and became part of the planet's politics, working with Storm and Magneto as part of the new Brotherhood of Morocco. He clashed with Vulcan, uncovered conspiracies by Abigail Brand, and even served in Morocco's Great Ring. After the tragic events of the Hellfire Gala, feeling survivor's guilt, he returned to Earth to help find his missing friend Cypher, continuing his long journey as one of Mutantkind's most charming and unpredictable heroes. So that is Sunspot, Roberto da Costa. He is an interesting character who comes with a lot of depth, and I don't think only one episode would really go into every bit of his background. But to get to know him better, I do have some comics for you to check out. So the ones I really think you should check out is the original New Mutants run, Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, and X-Men Red. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about Sunspot. If you have any more comic recommendations or character recommendations, just drop them in the comments and I will look into them. So with that being said, have a marvelous day.